Okay, I want to show you how to reduce this butterfly wing cane. This is just the top wing, down to this itty bitty butterfly. So you can imagine, with just this amount of clay, how many little tiny butterflies you can make. So I know some of you like to start with even larger canes. This is more than enough, and I personally wouldn't try to reduce anything anything larger than that. So a lot of you know how to reduce circle canes and round canes and square canes, but I had someone recently ask me how to reduce a butterfly wing cane. One of the important things to realize is that even when you're reducing round canes, the idea isn't to roll the cane at all. The idea is to continue forming the cane long. So the biggest problem we always have is that the outside of the cane squishes out and you lose a lot of the pattern on the ends. And there are lots of tricks to saving the ends. I'm not going to focus on that so much. I'm going to focus just a little bit more on the technique. So the first idea is to squish it in the middle so that this part is bulging out as opposed to getting swallowed. So if I start pressing in towards the middle, some people talk about choking the cane. One thing that's very important in reducing canes is to have all of the clay the same consistency. If you have some soft clay in there, maybe if my white was too soft and the blue was old and firm, then the white part would start pooching out and it would ruin the pattern. Now the shape of the butterfly wing cane is going to vary. The fun thing is even when the entire cane is reduced, you can change the shape of the wing. For me, the sharpest angle is this one right in the middle. This one over here remains a kind of a right angle. And this one I want to keep rounded. But again, I can round it out at the end. So part of the issue is going to be constantly changing the shape a little at this point, but then eventually you can fix the shape of the wing. Now my clay, okay, so I was talked about consistency, soft versus firm clay. People always talk about having your cane set. The only problem with that is, in my opinion, for this cane is very soft. As you watch me do this, I assume that if you work with firmer clays, you'll think, that would not work for me. So I actually go ahead and reduce mine soon after making it, again using pretty much pretty soft clay. One of the things you can always do to even out the consistency of your clay is you can use clay softener on the firmer clays, and then maybe leach the really soft clays. It's very, I can't overstate the importance of having them all the same firmness. Now, if the one clay that could be firmer is this black outline I have, if it's slightly firmer clay, that might help in making sure it doesn't all slide off the ends. I have the advantage of having cold hands. My hands are always cold. If your hands are very warm, it will warm up the outside of the cane, while the inside of the cane gets swallowed up in the middle because it's still cold and hard. As you can see, that's starting to happen to me here. There is a dip. I will end up losing some of the ends. But now I'm starting from the middle. The middle's going to get smaller and smaller. I'll keep working on the ends. And I know I haven't told you a lot about what I was doing. I was hoping that just by seeing what I'm doing here will help. By the time you're this stage, you're golden. I do like to use colors that mix up well together. This will make a beautiful dark blue. These ends will also might be fun in a kaleidoscope. But I'm going to try to save as much of the ends as I can. I have a bottom wing also that I will reduce separately, but the bottom wing's not nearly as tricky in my opinion. If you can reduce the top wing, you can absolutely reduce the bottom wing. Okay, now I would normally be a little more careful about these ends, but I want to show, I don't want to bore you to death, and I want to show you what I do when they start getting smaller and smaller. Sorry, I had to run and grab my slicer. This, of course, is everyone's favorite part. There's that gorgeous butterfly wing. Again, this is the part I meant about changing the shape at any point that I want to change the shape. Now from here, I'm going to work down from the big fat end. I'll be able to pull off quite a few canes slices. I slice my nut because these are sold in my Etsy shop. The tutorial itself is, for the cane itself, it will be next month, April 2017 issue of Cane Builder. But I realize that it's actually the reducing that's probably going to be harder, more difficult than the actual, designing the cane itself. So anyway, so once I measure off about 2 inches, I'll cut that off, and then I'll keep working. So you see, I definitely mess up the ends. But you can also see how if I were just ever so much more careful, I could have saved just a little bit more. So now, this is about the size I sell in my Etsy shop. You can still see, look, how much tinier it can still get, and how many butterflies you can get. So this is that top wing. I hope that helps. By all means, let me know if you have any questions.